It's been a long time since we've done any survival videos in the woods, and in this video we'll try to make it through the day eating only Norwegian Arctic field rations. Passing by the swamp, we saw some creatures. Two of them were these huge woodpeckers with red heads and long legs. And when they saw us, they started making loud noises, probably as an alarm to the other woodpeckers. I thought about catching one and eating it, but then I remembered we were only eating the rations that day, so maybe some other time. Also, in our old video, we already rescued two little woodpeckers. Maybe they're the same ones that grew up, so check it out if you haven't seen it. There were 3 rations waiting for us, because the Norwegians have each meal in a separate mini-pack, and they are all different, with their own menu numbers and contents. Which of them we eat for breakfast, we will decide with the help of a counting rhyme. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, once I caught a fish alive. Okay, it's silly. I'll take the middle one. Somebody had dumped a load on the place where we were going to have a breakfast, so we had to clean it up. Nearby was a fallen birch tree, from which we cut a piece of bark, and after flattening it, we got a small tray for food. While opening our breakfast, we discovered a large vacuum bag of some kind of food. It was very solid. Next to it was a medium-strength single-use spoon, so we opened the bag. Oh, it seems to be oatmeal and powdered milk. We need hot water for the oatmeal, and for this we'll heat up some water with a gas burner. For lunch and dinner though, we'll heat the water in other ways. In the meantime, we're opening the round delicious treats. These are peanuts covered in crunchy shell that are soaked in honey. Next, we take out this yellow bag, inside of which is this yellow powder, which according to the instructions should be added to water. You can pour water right inside a bag at this mark, I guess, in case there's nothing to stir it with, because then you can just shake the bag and get a delicious lemon energy drink. Next comes a chocolate bar with 60% cacao, and it's surprisingly delicious. I've never really tasted Norwegian chocolate before. The water is already boiling, and we pour our oatmeal in it and leave it there for 5 minutes. In the meantime, we make the coffee to cheer ourselves up and to get our porridge. The porridge turned out to be just incredibly delicious. I don't know what they add in it, but I ate the entire portion with great pleasure. On the other hand, I wasn't completely full, and probably could have eaten another bowl like that. I'm already wondering what's for lunch. Washing the dishes, we'll take the trash with us and move on. By the way, I figured out what these things on our backpacks are for. Probably to hang extra gear on for when we need quick access to it, or for when there's no room inside a bag. On our way to our lunch spot, we came across this interesting cabin, which is a hunting tower. We couldn't pass up the opportunity and decided to take a peek at what is inside. Not a bad setup, looks like a movie theater. A window and 2 car seats, with a warm blanket and walls insulated with carpet, so it's warmer. Although the carpets probably also have a sound insulating function, because right from this house they aim their sights at the area in front of the windows and aim at their prey. And to attract animals, the hunters scattered corn grains on the ground, and judging by these traces of different animals, they do really come here. It's time for lunch, and this time we're located on a slope covered with green moss. And now we open the second ration. For lunch, we had pasta bolognese, judging by the inscription at least. There was this big rock next to us, on which we put our mini stove, which came along with some of the rations from the past videos. Maybe someone can remember what country that was. We place it on the rock and load it with branches. You don't need a lot of wood for this kind of stove, and it produces little smoke if you need to stay inconspicuous. We heat the water for the main course, and next we have this kind of a crunchy bar with dried fruit. This is very tasty. Next we make the energy drink, this time in a mug. And then we have this bag of sweet dried fruit pieces. I don't know what these things are called precisely. Behind them there is a slightly whitened chocolate bar, but we're not picky and we'll eat that too. We open the main dish of macaroni covered in some kind of powder, take the already boiling water off the fire and pour it in there. In a couple of minutes, we get a lot of pasta with minced meat and vegetables floating in like a tomato sauce. It's very delicious. For those who like it spicy, there is a bag of hot sauce, and we end up with a nice hearty lunch. For some reason, eating outdoors always seems to taste better, although, at the same time, being at home, we would probably not eat such a food without much enjoyment. By the way, we have 3 very cool rations for our next videos at home, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss them in the future. Need a lunch spot? We found this shelter built by someone earlier. It doesn't look very reliable, but if there used to be leaves on these branches, it might protect someone from the rain. On our way to the next point, we wandered into a birch grove. And now we'll show you how to get some very useful birch sap, even without a nail and a hammer. You need to find a smooth place on a tree and make 2 very shallow incisions in the dead bark with a knife. Next, separate the corner with your fingers to get a spout like this. Now make a little puncture above it, about half an inch deep, and you can immediately see the birch sap coming out. You can make several of these holes, then quickly take some kind of a mug and tie the vessels right under the sprout. The droplets that come out get on this sprout and go right inside the mug, and in less than an hour we get more than half a mug of birch juice. That allows you not only to quench your thirst, but also to get many useful nutrients for your body. Despite the fact that such small punctures for the birch are like mosquito bites for a person, we decided to heal these wounds with a wood resin that is exerted from the bark of a coniferous plant. We collect it on the tip of our knife. After that, we actively rub it into the holes in the birch. We put some clay on top and move on. A few hours later, we stumble upon this perfect snack spot with benches and stone nests for a fire. Maybe it was equipped by some foresters for a refreshment, and maybe there were some rituals, because we found this old iron horseshoe nearby. But we'll do our own ritual. We gathered some dried twigs and make a small fire in the side. Then we put 3 pebbles around it, on top of which we put the magic horseshoe and get a perfect mini stove with a surface to place the kettle on it. For dinner, in the last packet we have some kind of a kebab as it says on the package, but before that we unpack out a bar of nuts and dried fruit. Next we have very similar looking nuts to the ones we had for breakfast, but in the morning they were sweet and these are salty. We open the bag and can definitely say that they put a lot of nice meat inside. Now we pour boiling water over it, and while it's boiling, we make ourselves this peach energy drink. And make the flavored coffee. We pour out our main dish, and it turns out to be rice in tomato sauce with vegetables and pieces of meat. Next we have this bar, but it's not chocolate, it's made of meat, like a flat sausage covered with Swedish coating. a bit of hot sauce, and you're all set. Great dinner and overall not a bad ration. Just wish we had means to heat it up. But we made it and had a cool day. Really cool day. Don't forget to watch our previous videos if you missed them, or subscribe to the channel and give the video a like.